Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. I think, wow, I've already lost my train of thought. Donovan,
No, I,
they know who you are at this point, but could
I
you
hope
introduce
so.
yourself again?
Hi, I'm Donovan. I am in the B team. I play Fez, and I'm really excited to be here. And honestly, I when we took a couple seconds to pause because I forgot we had to do that for recording. I was literally just gonna scream. I was like,
Oh, that would have been
I,
so funny.
I would,
That would
but
have been
I
amazing.
choked it back. But I don't think. I wouldn't want to make a first impression of people who listen to this for the first
Second
time.
impression,
So
but
second, well, I mean,
I get what you mean.
some people might want to make a character and play along with us. You know what I mean? So like,
so
what if
real.
like
Yeah.
what if their first impression of like, all right, what is this new thing? And then I just scream, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
how
yeah.
would they listen to us?
That is true. That is true.
Okay,
That's Donovan. My name is Moon. I am
Hi,
the
Moon.
developer. Hello, Donovan. I am the developer of Shuffle. I am the creator of the 12 Mystic Seas campaign setting. I am
Woo.
also the GM for the Tales from the 12 Mystic Seas actual play podcast that is on this channel. But this is not an actual play. This is our other show, Lore Dump, where we just talk about Shuffle. The mechanics, the world, anything you need to kind of help you maybe start to run and play your own games.
Highly encouraged, super
Yes.
fun. Honestly, I've been a part of it for a couple months, and I recommend it. Better than the other TTRPG.
The other game, we don't have to
Which we don't
say
mention.
its name. We
Yeah.
don't have to say its name. So in the first 3 videos we uploaded to this channel, A Team and B Team episode 1 and the lore dump about the world
Mhm.
of the 12 Mystic Seas, we mentioned a character creation video that is also quote unquote up at that time, because with the batch of the first 3 episodes, we also recorded a character creation video with Donovan and Sarah, as you know, as the wonderful Heliodora in B Team.
Mhm.
I love Sarah and her characters so much. She's
too.
great. We recorded that episode. It was good. It was great. I actually got like halfway through editing it, and then I decided to heavily update the entirety of how Shuffle works as a system, and most importantly, change a lot of key aspects about character creation. So that video that was recorded and edited now doesn't. It wouldn't make sense to post it because before the channel was even started, those rules had changed, and so you'd be working with old rules. So we had made a character that I was going to use as an NPC in that episode that I guess is like lost media now.
Ooh,
Spooky.
somebody make a video
Make
documentary
a
on that one.
TikTok. Make a TikTok, please. Legitimately, I'm recording this on the same laptop I use for all of my projects and for school, so I have like no space left. So the moment I was like, oh, I can't use this, I deleted all the audio just to clear up space. So legitimately, like it can't be found.
Yeah,
But
so
in that episode-
any internet sleuths, if you can get into with a hard drive,
Ooh.
we have a free video idea for
Find
you.
it.
Okay.
We made a character, a wonderful character named Saoirse,
Mhm.
that I was going to just kind of have in my back pocket that to introduce her in either campaign as an NPC. Saoirse was very much Sarah's character that we just kind of helped a little bit with.
Yeah.
Saoirse was inspired by the Dullahan of Irish myth.
Yes.
Headless, most of the time woman, not the Headless Horseman. They are not on horses. They're just kind of, you know, like a really neat mythology. Look it up if you want to. Our plan for today is essentially with the new rules to recreate Saoirse
Okay.
from the ground up.
All right,
Now,
cool.
the first step, and this is officially we're starting, the first step for character creation is to select a race. Now, races in this world have some you may recognize from other fantasy systems, and some that are new. There's a big part of creating Shuffle for me that I wanted to kind of step away from like traditional Tolkien-esque fantasy. I have nothing against that series. It's just it feels kind of oversaturated, and I wanted to make something new and try something new. So a lot of these are original races that I've made.
Yeah.
We will be going with one of the coolest one for this character, as Saoirse is a Curseborn.
Ooh.
Now, within the world of the 12 Mystic Seas, the world that Shuffle's kind of made to play in, Curseborn originate from the Sea of Curses. Essentially, someone has a nightmare, and then a Curseborn is created out of that nightmare. So there's no, like, solid rhyme or reason for what Curseborn look like or act like or fight like, because Curseborn are as varied and are as strange and mysterious as actual, dreams and nightmares are. If you want to learn more about that, please watch the Lore Dump 12 Mystic Seas lore episode. It's a great one. So Saoirse is a Curseborn.
Yeah. I said I should also watch the Lore Dump 12 Mystic Seas episode. I should actually watch that, because I'm like,
it's a good one. The 12 Mystic Seas lore dump is the first episode that was recorded for this entire channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's recorded like 4 months ago now at this point.
Jeez.
Which is wild. So yeah, with choosing a race in this system, you also get one racial feat. Now this fills the places of like race mechanics, how in other systems, like if you were like from a stronger race, you would get like a higher strength, or if you were like some weird demon imp thing, you'd get like resistance to fire damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shuffle is a bit easier than that. Each race has just a list of racial feats you can pick. You just pick one of them, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time, racial feats are not like abilities you can use, but they are like background effects that just kind of affect how your character works overall. Some of them are straight up abilities you can use, and then some races have required feats. Like any of the flying races in Shuffle, you need to have wings if you're picking a flying race.
Makes sense.
Now, we'll get into skills soon, but essentially you have one free feat and then a certain amount of skills. If you want to take more than just one feat, you can, but any feat you take past the first one, cutting that out.
Phenomenal. But now we can't cut it out because I commented on it. Sorry,
true. You're so real for that.
Or let's just and we're back.
I'm just gonna keep this whole thing. Any feat you take past the first one means you get one less skill. So races have a specific list of feats. Curseborn are unique because they are so varied. Their list is just the list of feats. You can be any of the feats if you are a Curseborn. I've ran enough games in other systems, and I've had a lot of players come to me because they'll come to the game with an idea and they've been like, hey, I want to see if I can do this. It doesn't really fit with the rules, so we've had to like homebrew races and stuff. Curseborn's kind of my answer to that. So if that one guy shows up and was like, let me be a centaur, but the bottom half is human and the top half is horse, Curseborn exists for that. That is an actual Curseborn player character in a Shuffle campaign.
I was thinking of OG Jaden's character.
Oh, Ooze?
Yeah.
Fair. Jaden, you know her as Louis. She plays a Curseborn in a team. She also only plays Curseborn in whatever Shuffle I run. She's never played anything but a Curseborn. So for Saoirse, she is a Curseborn. She gets one feat. We are going to choose the Semi-Inhuman feat. Now, this feat is actually only available to Curseborn, as it is not on any of the feats lists for any of the other races. What Semi-Inhuman gives you is you are immune to sickness, regular fatigue, and poison. You do not require food or water or sleep. Now, in other systems that kind of are very strong with like simulation, right, where like you're tracking the amount of food you have per day, you're tracking how much sleep you have, that is a really powerful thing. In Shuffle, it's more about like the grandiose adventure and not entirely the nitty-gritty of that. So while this is still pretty powerful, you still need to like rest, and like you are immune to like regular fatigue. You're not immune to like magical fatigue, right? Or that's
where the semi-inhuman comes from.
Of course. You are still like a mortal being. And Saoirse, as this kind of undead-esque creature of myth, makes perfect sense that she would have this. Now, the next step in character creation is you get to choose 4 skills from the listed options. Now, this part gets a little bit overwhelming for a lot of people. Even though it is only 4 skills, right now in Shuffle we have over 450 skills to choose from, give or take. 30 skill trees, about 6 skills tree. There's a lot of skills to choose from just across the board. It is, dare I say, too many. But if you know somewhat of an idea of what you want to do, this part isn't super bad because there's a lot of options, but you can kind of get like a cool character idea. Now, when it says you can choose 4 skills, those are skills on the skill tree. Now, if you join the Discord and get access to the shuffle document, you'll see skill trees are like 90% of the rule document, right? On skill trees, you have just a bunch of skills listed into boxes. And this is the part where kind of some of the specific mechanics enter in. At the top of every skill tree, you'll see skills that have a 1 next to them. Whenever you take a skill, you can take a 1 skill, right? 1 skills are kind of the start of a skill tree. After you take a first level skill, then you can move on to the second level skills on that skill tree. Now, second level skills are their own skills. They're most of the time they're not like an upgrade to the first level skill. And second level skills are on branches. Those branches will be listed with a number. So if you go to the fire magic skill tree, basic fire manipulation, just being able to move fire with magic, is a first level skill. You can just take that and then you have basic fire manipulation. 2A on the fire magic skill tree, fire sling, is on the A branch, so you need a first level skill before you can take 2A. And what that gives you access to with 2A is that now you have access to 3A, and you have access to essentially the A branch, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's important to know that you can really like customize this very deeply, where you can pick 4 first level skills, or you could go all the way in 1 as you so wish.
Yeah.
With the branches, it's really important to note though that like, take fire magic. If you want 3B, which is fire direct, and you have 2A, you can't jump from 2A to 3B. You would need to get 2B first. Now you can have 1, 2A, 2B, and 3B. That's fine. You can go on multiple branches, right? But when you're getting to lower level skills, you need the skill right above that in that branch first. Now, a lot of skill trees have multiple first level skills. Like fire magic has basic fire manipulation, that's you just like moving fire around, that's like putting out small fires, creating small fires. But it also has a first level skill called Fire Ground. Fire Ground is a purely combat like area of effect. You touch the ground, it burns, anyone that's on that area takes fire damage, right?
Yeah.
Fire Ground is right above Fire Sling on the skill tree. But Fire Ground is just a first level skill. It doesn't have a letter on it, so it's not a part of a branch. It's a little confusing, I will admit. The placement of it is not the best, but in the meantime, with just still making the system, just moving things around a lot, I don't want to like put a lot of time into graphic design before the actual mechanics make sense. So for now, just make sure you're looking at the branches. If you have anything past 2 on a branch, make sure you have everything above it on that branch.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the system is still in beta testing. This is like a big beta test thing right now.
Yes. The system is still in beta test. It is not released. It is not like we may have to redo this video eventually if I make some major changes to it, right?
And then I'm gonna have to come back and then learn the game again.
Oh, me and you both. So for Saoirse, she's kind of this like scary character. I think we can really just go off what we had originally for her.
Absolutely. I really liked what we had before, so I think...
So we're going to go to Storm Magic, and we're going to take the first level, which is Storm Control. Absolutely. Similar to basic fire manipulation, Storm Control, I can just read it. You can slightly call upon storms, creating a small, harmless, sprinkling storm cloud. You also have slight control over wind, being able to manipulate the air around small items. And then it also gives you resistance to lightning and thunder damage. So the first one has a target of non-creatures, so you're not really going to use first level skills a lot in combat, but you can do creative things with it. Because it has a range of 60 feet, if you can make a wind to like grab something from across the room without having to use your movement to get over to there. That's pretty good. Storm Control then gives us access to all of the second level skills on the Storm Magic skill tree. Now, originally we had Gust Attack,
Yes.
and Gust Attack is 2B on the Storm Magic skill tree. Gust Attack is a pretty cool attack. You essentially can push, you make a contested check with a creature, and you can push them wherever you want. This is really good for combo moves. This is really good if you're in an area that has like an insta-kill mechanic, like if you're fighting by lava, or you're fighting really high up in the sky, or like on the side of a building, right? Being able to just throw someone to their death is great.
Yeah.
And then Gust Attack upgrades pretty quickly to give you damaging things as well. Like if you throw someone into another character, or you throw someone into a wall, you'll deal damage there. Now, I wanted to see if maybe, because I like the idea with this character, with Saoirse, because she doesn't have a head.
Yeah.
In terms of design, and me and Sarah have talked a lot about this, because the myth that Saoirse is based on, a lot of these mythological creatures will like wear a head that can just kind of pop off, but oftentimes they'll wear things to cover their non-existent face, right? She told me an awesome story about a Dualahan that just walked around in a motorcycle helmet, which I think is awesome, right? I think in this world, I like the idea that she wears this very like long, like Celtic, like shawl, right? With like patches of many colors and stuff. Maybe a maternal shawl. I need to talk with her. I want to make sure I get like I want to make sure I get the inspiration right. But with just a knight's helmet on top of it.
I do like the knight's helmet idea a lot. I remember hearing about that during the original podcast character creation episode. Really cool.
Yeah, I feel like the design for that is like really cool, right? And then like you can see her hand, like she's there, right? But like one day the knight's helmet falls off, and then there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
I like the idea that she is kind of hard to hit. She's kind of like supernaturally nimble, right?
Yeah.
And I think that also gives a really cool moment that if she's dodging out of the way, the helmet's not secure on her head because it's not on top of anything, right? It's just kind of sitting on that stump.
Yeah.
So 2F on the Storm Magic skill tree is Heavy Winds. As a reaction, when you are hit by the target of an effect, you may move yourself anywhere within 10 feet of your starting position without knowing the original parameters of the attack that targeted you, right? Like, if a group of people are fighting her and someone gives this, like, AoE fireball effect, she can reaction summon, like, storm winds to push her out of the way, which I think really fits that, like, spooky vibe really well.
I like that. And we don't really have a lot of characters like that are like they feel like horror movie villains. Like this feels like a villain in a horror movie, which I really enjoy.
Yeah 100%. She's spooky. And then originally on the original character sheet we had the first level on short range teleportation and the first level on basic shadow magic for her as well. Because with Storm Control, Gust Attack, and Heavy Winds, we have 3 of her 4 starting skills. I think we go with basic shadow magic because I feel like Heavy Winds kind of fits because, you know, we gave her teleportation because she's able to move around a lot, right? But with Heavy Winds, it kind of fits that already.
So I guess with Heavy Wind, she doesn't really need the teleportation if she can just push herself in a direction, if I'm correct?
Yes. Yeah. That is what I'm saying.
So that's why we're choosing Shadow Magic over the short range teleportation.
Now, I could see her taking teleportation eventually down the line.
Yes.
Every time you level up and shuffle, you get a new skill. So it's always a question of like, do I want to upgrade a skill I already have? Do I want to get access to a new branch? Like, if I have a first level skill on a branch, I can take all the other second level skills whenever I get a new skill. Exactly. Do I upgrade a skill I have? Do I get a new branch? Or do I start a new skill tree? Right? Basic shadow. Sorry,
that's entirely based off the character. Like people want to make too. Like
of course.
Like it's all dependent on like I want my character to do this, and like you can follow that specific map, or you can pull skills from different trees as long as it's in order of the skill tree and you're leveling up.
Yes, 100%. And so basic shadow magic by itself, I think, could be used with Saoirse really well because she is kind of like creepy. And like, if we're imagining her as this horror movie villain who's like stalking up on people, right? Like, casting herself in shadow is really cool. But
Yeah.
also, taking a first level skill that mechanically, like in combat, isn't perfectly useful at first level still makes sense. So then you're one skill closer. When you level up, then you have access to all these second level skills on the Shadow Magic skill tree, which, because Saoirse will be an NPC I will play, now I will have access to those. And I think that's really cool. So that is the second step on character creation. Everything past here gets pretty easy. Choosing race and choosing your 4 skills kind of takes a lot. Because that is a bulk of character
that's
creation.
your character idea. Like, this is what you want your character to look like and act like. That kind of all falls into race and
yes,
skills.
100%. The next step 3, is choosing your main 6 stats. Now, if you've played a lot of the other system, we can say it. I've said it in other episodes. Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Yeah, 5th edition specifically. You'll recognize strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. Right.
Yeah.
Shuffle works on a point buy system, where essentially all of your skills start at 0, and you can just kind of choose what you want them to be, with a minimum of -4 and a maximum of +4. Now, there is a stipulation at the end where you need to add all 6 skills up, and then they need to equal the positive number 9. So in the rule document, I have a strength of +3, a dexterity of -1, a constitution of +4, an intelligence of +2, a wisdom of 0, and a charisma of +1. Add those 6 numbers up and you get 9. That's +3 -1 is 2, +4 is 6, +2 is 8, +1 is 9, right?
Sure.
For if I say it fast enough, it sounds correct.
Yeah.
For Saoirse, we found these last time. Saoirse has a strength of -1. She has a dexterity of +4. She has a constitution of -2, which means her health is going to be lower, but because of the like non-eat human stuff, she's not going to be making a lot of like poison checks and like sickness checks, right? So it is a good trade-off in that regard. She has an intelligence of +2, a wisdom of +2, and a charisma of +4. Add those up, that equals 9. We checked it on the last video, so I'm trusting old me's math.
I also trust old you's math because I'm not doing all that.
Love that. The 4th step is we get to choose 3 proficiencies. Now, these are known as skills in D&D 5e. These are just specific things that when you make checks, so checks will always rely on your main 6 stats, but sometimes you have like an area that's more specific than just strength. They will rely on the base 6. You can get proficiency in these kind of specific checks, right? What proficiency is in Shuffle across the board is that if you're making a check with proficiency, you'll pull 3 cards and use the higher 2 out of the 3. This one, the list is on actually the very bottom of the Shuffle document. These lists of specific proficiencies will always rely on your base 6 stats. You get to choose 3. So Saoirse has a proficiency in intimidation, which is based in charisma. She has a proficiency in survival, which is based in wisdom. And she has a proficiency in deception, which is also based in charisma. Now, unlike other games where proficiency in one of these areas just gets you a flat bonus to all checks with that skill.
Yes.
With how proficiency works in Shuffle, you're not getting a flat bonus, but you're more reliably not going to get lower checks in that area, right? Where like training over time, there's still chances that you are going to fail, but instead of like you just doing better, the chances of you failing are a lot lower because you're pulling 3 and using the higher 2. What you also get here with proficiencies is that you get proficiencies in a forced check of one of the 6 skills. A forced check is whenever essentially you are forced to make a check, right? If you're lifting a boulder, that's not a forced strength check. But if someone drops a boulder on you when you're trying to not let it crush you, that is a forced strength check. You get proficiency in one of the 6. I want to say, I think she gets proficiency in dexterity checks. She already has a pretty high base dexterity, so it's going to be higher, right?
Yeah.
But with the 2F heavy winds skill, even if she is still hit by the area of effect, a +4 to dexterity plus a proficiency in forced dexterity checks is going to make her extremely hard to hit.
Yeah, and I like that this whole like basis to that is like this like whole what am I saying? You know what? Never mind. Just keep talking. I was gonna say something and then the train just kind of went off track.
She's spooky. She's scary.
She's very spooky and she's hard to hit, and that's why I like
she's
that we're
also
basing it off of that.
Made out of nightmare, so she's gonna be like she's not, and her skill is called Inhuman. She's going to move in weird inhuman ways,
yes,
which kind of gives a like ridiculously high dexterity and being really good to dodge things, right?
And that's why you're the dealer and I'm playing the game because you explained it so much better.
Hey. Anyone can make a character. We're just here to provide insight.
Anyone can cook.
Anyone can cook. Now, next up, we calculate HP and armor/dodge. HP is pretty simple. It's 25 plus twice your constitution.
Yes.
Now, I want to clarify. It is not 25 times your constitution. I've had people show up with like 75 HP, and I'm like, how did you get that?
It's crazy.
It's it's 25 plus twice your constitution with a minimum of 25.
Yeah.
So if you had a +2 to Constitution, you'd multiply that times 2, which is 4. Add that to 25, you'd have a 29. Saoirse has a -2 to Constitution. Now, at later levels, when you level up, Saoirse will take a hit and get less health increase than everyone else. But at level 1, don't want people to die instantly, right? So she will just have a 25, even though she has a -2 to Constitution.
Unlike the other TTRPG game.
I love throwing shade at a multi-billion organization and industry.
What can we say?
Exactly. So yeah, Saoirse will have a HP of 25. Now, armor/dodge is how hard you are to hit. If someone's coming at you with a sword, they'll make an attack check. If the attack check is equal to or higher than your armor or dodge, they hit you, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a higher strength, you will have an armor score. If you have a higher dexterity, you will have a dodge score. So Saoirse will absolutely have a dodge score. Mm-hmm. The calculation for this is it is 13 plus either strength or dexterity. Saoirse has a +4 to dexterity, so she has a dodge of 17. Woo! Now, with all characters, your speed, essentially how fast you can move each round, is 30 feet unless changed by either a racial feat or a skill. Many racial feats and skills change that in some way, but Saoirse doesn't have any, so she has the base speed of 30.
All right.
Now, next we choose a chosen suit. Now, I have been working on this game for about 3 years now. I've changed a lot of the mechanics. Originally, checks were a single card pull, and there was a discard pile, and basically, OG Shuffle was a mess, right? Mm-hmm. The Chosen Suit mechanic is a mechanic I have had since the very beginning, and it has not changed even just a little bit. It has worked so good since the beginning.
It's just a simple idea.
It's so simple, but it works so well. What the Chosen Suit is that because you play Shuffle with a deck of playing cards, you will choose one of the 4 suits to be your Chosen Suit. Those on most decks are spades, diamonds, hearts, and clubs. Whenever you pull a card of your Chosen Suit, it's worth 1 more than the number on the card.
And if you're playing with a deck that doesn't have those, what are you doing?
Well,
what deck of cards do you have?
I've had people play Shuffle with Uno before.
Well, I mean, there's 4 different...
Yeah. It can
Okay.
work. We'll talk
Okay.
about it after. That's not
That's-
the point of this episode.
That's a different episode. Tune into
Yes.
playing shuffle with other decks of cards. The episode.
yeah, that Lord
That
That's going to
one's
be like 3.5
5
minutes
minutes.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like if your chosen suit is 7, sorry, what? No. If your chosen suit is hearts and you pull a 7 of hearts,
Oh, my
you'll count
favorite
that
suit.
as an 8.
Okay.
The other cool thing with chosen suits is that aces are low in this system. Aces are worth a 1, but the ace of your chosen suit is worth a 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
So normally shuffle is like 1 through 13 because jacks are 11, queens are 12, and kings are 13. But your chosen suit moves that. It's like a 2 through 14, but actually the ace jumps up. So all the other suits are 1 through 13. Chosen suit
love
is
the
3
chosen suit
through
mechanic,
15.
honestly.
It's
Yeah,
so
and it also just
it's
like
so
makes
it's like
sense,
it's so
and it also
intuitive too.
is really easy to follow. And I think one of my favorite examples is when we were playing just like little home game, and I pulled a card, and you
Yes.
pulled a card, and we pulled the same card,
Yes,
but because it
yes,
was my chosen
yes.
suit,
We both pulled 9s, we were doing a tiebreaker. We both pulled 9s. Donovan pulled a 9 of his chosen suit, meaning it was worth a 10. So he won the check
because of the
by
chosen
a
suit
single
mechanic.
point
So
just because
I'm
of the
forever
chosen
indebted to
suit.
the system now. I'm forever indebted to the chosen suit mechanic. Yeah.
Oh, right. Also, I feel like the chosen suit was so cool because you
No.
can't do that
Yeah.
with dice, right? Like from the beginning, I'm like, I need something. You
Yeah,
can
take
only
that,
do
other
cards.
TTRPG.
And it's like, yeah. I love all other games. This community is great. It's just one of the. You know what? I'm
Full
not even gonna
disclosure,
talk
I
about it.
like
I'm not
the
even
other
gonna talk about it.
TTRPG. I'm in a different campaign in my little home.
We don't have to tell them. We don't have to
cheating on
tell them that
Shuffle.
you're cheating
Sorry.
on shuffle. All right. So that is the chosen suit mechanic. Also, you start with 0 luck points.
This is also a fun mechanic. Yes.
Luck points are another mechanic that have been in here from the beginning. Whenever you pull a joker, because in shuffle you do play with jokers. Whenever you pull a joker, you get 1 luck point, and then you put that joker back in your deck and you pull another card. Jokers aren't worth a numerical value the way other cards are. They're just there to get you luck points. Whenever you fail a check, you can spend luck points to increase that check, increasing the check by 1 for every luck point spent, right? So if you're trying to, let's go back to lifting a boulder.
Good
I like
analogy.
lifting boulders. If you're lifting a boulder and the DC is 15, so you need to make a strength check of 15 to lift the boulder, and you pull a 13. Sorry, if you pull a 12 plus a strength of 1 is a 13, you would fail. You can then spend 2 luck points to increase that check of a 13 to a 15, right? And then those luck points are spent and they're gone. And then beyond that, there's a lot of cool, interesting mechanics to that like play with luck points in different ways. But that is the base idea for luck points. The other thing is that the dealer, the GM, the person running the game, doesn't really get luck points because they can already just lie about checks if they want
What?
to.
No, who would do that? Lying about
What?
checks.
That's
No
wild.
Dungeon
I've
Master
never
has
done that
ever lied on a
before.
check.
That's
no.
dealer.
It's like
wow.
This is exactly like cheating because like it's when you call like your spouse like by a different name. I mean, dealer.
No, she's just a friend. She's just a friend. I promise. Don't go through my phone. I go through your phone. I just see photos of you with dice. So whenever the dealer pulls a joker, every player at the table gets 1 luck point. So it's like the dealer always has a chance to like buff everyone just a little bit by giving them 1 luck point each. Characters start with 0 luck points. And Saoirse, because Saoirse's going to be a NPC, she's not really going to have luck points, but I felt important for it to go over. Now, mana is a new mechanic that I'm not sure Donovan knows about.
I actually don't. I'm ready to learn about it.
Mana is me adding mana is the reason why we had to record a new character creation one, because mana is so big. Originally in Shuffle, whenever you would take a magic skill, the skill would say, you can do this 3 times a day, or you can do this 2 times a day, or you can do this once per day, right? Mana is it's a better long-term solution to that, but it's a bit more complicated at the beginning. So you calculate mana in the following way. You got to take all of your skills and you have to look at the skills that cost mana, right? For Saoirse, the only skill she has that costs mana is her Gust attack, which costs 5 mana to use. For each skill you have that costs mana, you get 3 mana per day.
Okay.
And then if you have an upgrade to a skill that costs mana, that upgrade also gives you 3 mana per day. Additionally, you get mana per day equal to your level and your chosen spellcasting stat, which gets into another thing where all magic has to be based in either intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, right? You'll choose one of those, and that is your spellcasting stat. For Saoirse, hers is going to be charisma. So actually in the character sheet right next to the charisma box, I have written down spellcasting stat just to know it's right there. It's like, oh, it's charisma, okay. Right? So mana is you take all of the skills that use mana, you get 3 mana per skill that uses mana, and then you also get mana equal to your level and your spellcasting stat. So, because we only have one skill, Gust Attack, that gives us mana, we get 3 from there. We get 1 more because we're a level 1 character, and then we get 4 more because Saoirse has a charisma of +4, giving us 8 mana per day, right? But your mana also changes depending on whether you are a intelligence, wisdom, or charisma caster, which is the important thing. If your chosen stat is charisma, you actually get +1 mana per day for every non-mana using magic skill you have. Again, this kind of gets into the nitty-gritty of it. We have Storm Control, which is magic but does not cost mana, and then we have basic Shadow Magic and Heavy Winds that also are magical skills, but they don't cost mana. Because we are a charisma caster, we get 1 mana per day from those as well. You can spend you can spend up to your maximum amount of mana, and after you finish a long rest, you get all of your mana back.
Okay.
So because Saoirse is a charisma caster, she will get an additional 3 mana per day, bumping her daily mana up to 11.
All right.
Right. Because of these niche little things, everyone will have a different mana count, right? It's gonna be, like you'll be hard pressed to find 2 characters in the same campaign at least that have the same amount of mana. Oh, to go over the other ones, if you are a wisdom caster, you can turn luck points into mana and mana into luck points. If you are turning luck points into mana, then for every 2 luck points, you get 1 mana. If you're turning mana into luck points, for every 1 mana you spend, you get 1 luck point. So it is not an exact trade.
Okay.
Right. But
Exchange
it still
rate.
exists. Right. These mana skills will probably change. They really have not been play tested at all. Oh, and then if your spellcasting skill is intelligence, you can cast skills on a skill tree that you don't have access to, as long as you have a skill on that skill tree of that same level. Which, if you have 3A on a skill tree, you can cast 3B and 3C and 3E and 3D and 3F for a much higher mana cost. So like a skill that would cost you 3 if you're using this with intelligence will cost you 6 mana instead. And then if you have no magic skills whatsoever, once per day you can just cancel a magic effect, which Shuffle is a very high magic system. The 12 Mystic Seas is a very high magic world. So if you're going out of your way to not have magic, you get this really powerful ability as well. Just to tie it all back into Saoirse, she has a mana amount of 11. Okay. Now, the last step is that we need to work at what Saoirse has in her inventory.
All right.
She has 1 boat ticket, 3,000 gold worth of poker chips, and a camera. I can't really get into why, but watch the campaigns. You'll meet Saoirse eventually, and she was made here, and you understand where she was made, and that's character creation. Now, there's a lot more nuance with some other things, but that is essentially the basics of it. Watching this, you should be able to make a character now.
And Yeah,
And that's
this is
it.
all just the
We're all
basics. If you
good.
have any specific questions, I believe there should be a link to the Discord where you can hit us up.
Yes, in the description of this video, there will be a link to this to the Discord. We're all on there.
Yeah.
I love
on
talking
there.
about this game.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Well, you
so
made it,
if you have
so-
any questions, yes. But also, I just think it's cool. You know,
Yeah, I think
the
it's
amount
cool
of times I've finished a campaign. Well, to let this episode be a resource to people, I think I'm gonna end it here. Do you have any last minute questions, Donovan, or just thoughts?
too. I really don't. I think this character is gonna be really cool, and I can't wait to meet him. Either in is this gonna be an A team?
You will just have to listen to find out.
Ah, God.
You will
okay,
just
so
have to listen to find out.
I'm along with the viewers then on the road because I don't know when she's gonna show up.
Oh, I do trust.
Oh,
You will meet Saoirse sooner than, well, not you, as in the audience will meet Saoirse sooner than later.
Okay. I like my eyes wider, my heart dropped for a second.
Yes,
we're
yes,
about,
yes.
we're about to have a My Hero moment. We're about to invade the school, but I
All
don't know
right.
what you're saying, so
Thank you, folks,
right.
so much for listening.
thank you.
All of our socials are linked in the description of this episode.
Join the
Um,
Discord. Talk to us about.
join the
game.
Discord.
We would love to talk to you.
Yes. Thank you for following along. Please let us know if you're running your own shuffle games. That would be so amazing.
That would be
That would be
dope as
wild.
shit. Yeah.
And then thank you for supporting us on this. This has
Alright.
been awesome.
Happy character creating, everybody.
Oh yes. Oh, and please tell us what characters you create. There's I've done the math. Literally trillions of possible characters in Shuffle. So please tell us what characters you create. Share them with us. And bye-bye.
Amazing.